Do you have items in your home that you don't use, but you keep them because you used to need them? Things that used to be luxurious trendy now just make your home look old, messy, and cramped. But don't worry, in this video, I'll share 31 items you can consider getting rid of today. You don't have to clean your whole house at once, just start with a small corner. I guarantee that after watching this, you'll be able to boldly get rid of them right away. No regrets, no overthinking. Get rid of them. You'll find your home lighter and your mind lighter too. Number 1 is George Foreman grills and other outdated kitchen gadgets. Raise your hand if you still have a George Foreman grill or one of those kitchen gadgets from the 90s or early 2000s that promised to change your life. Remember the egg cookers, the mini choppers, the ice cream makers that sounded fun for 5 minutes? Back then, these gadgets were everywhere, but now they're mostly collecting dust in your cabinets, taking up space you could actually use. If you're not using it regularly, it's not serving you, it's just adding to the clutter. So say goodbye to the bulky, one-hit wonders in your kitchen. You won't miss them, promise. And if you're ready to learn more, the next video is for you. In the next video, we'll look at and eliminate clothes that are often forgotten about, even when they no longer fit. Guaranteed to bring highly effective results to your wardrobe. Subscribe so you don't miss out. Now let's get back to today's content. Number 2 is cookie tins. Let's be real, nothing ages a kitchen faster than a stack of old cookie tins shoved in a corner or lining the top of a cabinet. You know the ones, the holiday popcorn tins, the biscuit containers that somehow became storage, the decorative metal boxes that feel too nice to toss but never actually get used. We tell ourselves they'll be good for organizing, but they're not airtight, not practical, and definitely not worth the space they take up. And here's the truth, they're just packaging. You don't need to keep packaging. Once the cookies are gone, the job is done. Let them go without guilt. Your shelves will thank you. Number 3 is Jello molds and novelty-shaped ice cube trays. Remember the days of Jello molds, or when making little fish-shaped ice cubes for your kids felt like a Pinterest-worthy moment? Yeah, that phase is probably over. At some point, I had an entire drawer dedicated to these random molds for sandwiches, fruit shapes, even homemade popsicles. But truthfully, we barely used them. And when we did, the effort rarely matched the outcome. If you've got a drawer filled with silicone shapes and novelty trays you haven't touched in years, it's time to let them go. Number 4 is crystal candy dishes, bowls, and glasses. Nothing screams Grandma's house quite like a crystal candy dish filled with Werther's Originals. There was a time when crystal glassware was a symbol of status. Your grandma might have collected it proudly because back then having fancy crystal meant you had made it. But now it mostly signals that your teenage years were around the same time the Beatles topped the charts. If you genuinely love it and use it, absolutely keep it. But if it's sitting out just because it used to be impressive, or worse, tucked away and forgotten, it might be time to let it go. Your home should reflect who you are now, not who you were or who your grandmother hoped you'd become. Number 5 is fancy dishes and cutlery for special occasions. Do you have a cabinet full of silverware or fine china that only sees the light of day on holidays, if ever? Back in the day, having a formal set of dishes was a big deal. It meant you were prepared, elegant, maybe even a little fancy. But if those items are just sitting there, collecting dust, taking up space in your kitchen, it might be time to ask, do I actually use this? If you do, great, keep using it and enjoy. But if not, what if you cleared that space for things you actually reach for every day? You don't need to wait for a special occasion to use your favorite pieces. And you definitely don't need to keep storing things just because they once felt important. Number 6 is oversized platters and punch bowls. Let's be honest, when was the last time you used a punch bowl? A couple of nice platters, totally fine. But so many homes have cabinets overflowing with oversized decorative platters and bowls that barely ever get used. They're bulky, they're hard to store, and often they're just in the way. Punch bowls in particular feel like something from another era when parties meant ladles and floating fruit. These days, most of us aren't hosting like that. And if we are, there are easier, more modern ways to serve drinks or snacks. So ask yourself, how many platters do I actually use in a year? If it's just one or two, keep your favorites and let the rest go. Number 7 is teacups. They're tiny, they're delicate, and most of the time, they're just sitting there unused. Teacups often come as part of a dish set or were passed down from someone special. But in reality, most of us aren't pouring ourselves a dainty cup of tea in the middle of the afternoon. We're reaching for the biggest mug we own and filling it to the brim. And those little matching saucers, pretty but impractical. They take up space and rarely serve a purpose in daily life. It's okay to keep one or two if they bring you joy. But if you have a whole cabinet full just because they came with the set, it's time to rethink it. Let go of the extras and make space for items that truly serve you today. Number 8 is takeout menus. There was a time when collecting takeout menus made perfect sense. You needed them to check prices, see what was on offer, maybe clip the coupons. But that time is long gone. Menus change constantly, and the internet updates faster than your junk drawer ever could. If you're ordering food these days, you're probably doing it online, not digging through a pile of wrinkled paper to see what the local Thai place used to serve in 2016. It's time to toss the outdated flyers, the faded coupons, the stack of menus from restaurants that might not even exist anymore. They're not helping, they're just taking up space. Number 9 is cookbooks and paper recipe collections. It's easy to accumulate cookbooks and recipe cards over time, especially the ones passed down, gifted, or collected during an ambitious cooking phase. But how many of them do you actually use? Most people rotate through the same handful of recipes. The rest? They're just taking up space, adding visual clutter to your kitchen and making it harder to find the few you really love. Here's a simple solution: keep the recipes you truly use and let the rest go. Tear out your favorites, make a binder, or take a photo and store them digitally. You don't need to keep a whole book for one good lasagna recipe. Less paper, less guilt, more space, and easier cooking. Number 10 is instruction manuals. Let's talk about those drawers or boxes full of manuals for blenders you no longer own, electronics that stopped working years ago, or appliances you know how to use without flipping a page. Here's the thing, nearly every manual is available online now. If something breaks, chances are you're not digging through your paper stash, you're Googling the fix. And let's be honest, half the manuals we keep are for things that aren't even in the house anymore. It's time to clear the paper clutter. Recycle what you don't need and keep only the essentials, if any. Free up the drawer. You'll never miss them. Number 11 is phone books and yellow pages. If you still have a stack of phone books or old yellow pages somewhere in your house, here's your sign. It's time to let them go. These books used to be essential. Every number, every service right at your fingertips. But now you have a phone that fits in your pocket and can find anything in seconds. Phone books are bulky, outdated the moment they're printed, and frankly, completely unnecessary in the digital age. They're not sentimental. They're not useful. They're just taking up room. Recycling them is not only okay, it's overdue. Number 12 is stacks of business cards. Business cards used to be essential: a handshake, a smile, and a little rectangle of cardstock to remember someone by. But now, everything is digital. We connect online, follow each other on social media, save contacts directly to our phones. And yet, somehow business cards still pile up. In wallets, in drawers, in random bowls around the house. Here's the thing, if you really needed that contact, you probably already looked them up or saved their info. If not, that tiny card isn't doing anything for you except adding clutter and a tiny wave of guilt every time you see it. Let go of the stack. You're not losing opportunity, you're gaining clarity. Number 13 is stationery and blank cards. There was a time when sending a handwritten card felt like second nature. Maybe you even kept a drawer full. Birthday cards, thank you notes, blank sets for any occasion. But if you're being honest, when was the last time you used one? Now we send a text, an email, a quick message, and yet the drawer full of unused cards and envelopes remains silently reminding you of the person you meant to be. It's okay to let them go. Keep a few if you truly send them, but there's no need to store years' worth of cards for a habit that doesn't match how you actually live today. Number 14 is paper maps. There's something nostalgic about an old folded map. Maybe it reminds you of road trips or simpler times. But when it comes to real-life function, that ship has sailed. Today we rely on digital maps for everything. They tell us the fastest route, show traffic in real time, even reroute us if we miss a turn. A paper map can't do any of that. And let's be honest, most of us don't even remember how to fold them properly. Unless you're a collector, or hiking off the grid, paper maps are just taking up glove box and drawer space. You can honor the memories, but you don't need to keep the paper. Let them go and enjoy the simplicity of having one less thing to fumble through. Number 15 is magazines and newspapers. Stacks of magazines by the couch. Old newspapers tucked into drawers just in case. We keep them with the idea that we'll revisit an article, try a recipe, or read something later. But let's be honest, we rarely do. We live in a world where everything is digital, searchable, and constantly updated. If you want inspiration advice or news, you can find it faster and more efficiently online. There's no need to hang on to a growing pile of paper that only adds visual noise and collects dust. If you haven't touched it in months or even years, it's time. Recycle the old issues and keep only what truly adds value, not just what adds weight. Number 16 is encyclopedias and dictionaries. There was a time when having a full set of encyclopedias and a big heavy dictionary felt like a badge of honor, like you were ready for any question life could throw at you. But that time has passed. Today we don't flip pages, we tap screens. Whether you're looking up a random fact, checking the spelling of a word, or trying to understand a new concept, the internet gives you faster, clearer, and more updated answers. No bookshelf can compete with that. And let's be honest, most of these books haven't been opened in years. They're heavy, outdated, and taking up space that could be used for things you actually need or love. If you're not using them, it's okay to let them go. You're not throwing away knowledge, you're just making room for a more useful modern way to access it. Number 17 is tablecloths and placemats. There's a kind of charm to a beautifully set table, but for most people that era of formal dining has quietly passed. These days, we eat quickly, clean up faster, and prioritize simplicity. Tablecloths that need constant washing and placemats that collect crumbs. They just don't fit most modern routines. And yet many of us still have drawers full of them, stained, mismatched, or never used. It's not that you can't keep a set or two for special occasions. But if you're not using them regularly, they're just clutter disguised as someday. And let's be real, someday rarely comes. Keep the ones you love. Let the rest go. Your dining space will feel lighter and your cleanup will be faster. Number 18 is handmade crafts and DIY projects. You made it or someone made it for you. A little art project, a handmade decoration, a DIY craft from a season of creativity or a workshop years ago. At the time, it felt personal, maybe even special. But now, it sits in a drawer or on a shelf you don't really look at. Maybe it's gathering dust in a corner, not because you forgot, but because it no longer fits your space or style. We often keep handmade things out of guilt. I can't throw this away. Someone put effort into it. But here's the thing. The value wasn't just in the object. It was in the time, the care, the moment of making. Letting go of a craft or DIY item doesn't erase the memory. It simply says, this isn't serving me anymore. Keep the pieces you truly love. The rest. Release with appreciation and make space for what fits who you are today. Number 19 is calculators. Remember when having a calculator in your drawer felt essential, whether it was for balancing a checkbook, doing taxes, or helping with schoolwork? It used to be a go-to tool. But now, you already have a calculator and it's in your phone. Unless you're doing complex math every day, and if you are, you probably have a specific device for that. The average household calculator is just collecting dust. And chances are, if you dug one out today, the battery would be dead anyway. If it's not being used regularly, it's just another item taking up space in a drawer, on a shelf, or in your office. Let it go. You've already got something better in your pocket. Number 20 is old electronics. We've all got them old laptops that don't turn on cameras that haven't been used since digital became the norm, or speakers that belong to a setup we no longer have. It's hard to let go, especially when you remember what they cost. But here's the truth. Tech ages fast. What felt cutting edge 5 years ago might not even function today. And yet we store these things in closets and boxes just in case. But that just in case rarely comes. Instead, we're left managing the clutter of outdated devices that don't serve us anymore. If it doesn't work, if it hasn't been used in a year, or if you don't even have the right cords to power it up, it's time to let it go. Properly recycle it and reclaim the space it's taking up. Less tangled wires, less guilt, more room to breathe. Number 21 is cords and cables. We all have that box. Full of tangled cords, mystery chargers, and adapters for devices we probably don't even own anymore. The idea is always the same, maybe I'll need this one day. But let's be honest, if you don't know what it's for, you're not going to reach for it when something breaks. You'll buy a new one that actually works with your current devices. Technology moves fast, and these cords don't keep up. Holding onto them just means you're organizing clutter that has already expired. Keep the essentials, the ones you know you use regularly. The rest, recycle or discard them. You won't miss what you can't identify. Number 22 is landline phones. They used to be a household essential, plugged into the wall with long curly cords or clunky cordless bases. Now most people haven't used a landline in years, but for some reason, those old phones are still in storage. In the attic, in a box, in a drawer, just sitting there collecting dust. Even if they still work, there's a good chance they're not compatible with today's systems. And let's be real, if your mobile phone isn't working, you're not digging through a box to find a backup from 2006. It's time to let them go. They've served their purpose. Number 23 is blank DVDs and CDs. Once upon a time, burning music photos or videos onto a disc felt high-tech. It was how we backed things up, shared memories, and stored files. But now, most of us don't even own a device that can read a CD or DVD, let alone burn one. And yet those blank discs still sit in drawers and boxes like we're going to suddenly start burning mixtapes again. If you haven't touched them in years, and you don't have the equipment to use them anymore, they're not worth the space they take up. Let them go. You've moved on, your tech should too. Number 24 is too many framed photos. A few meaningful photos on the wall. Lovely. But when every surface is covered, side tables, dressers, bookshelves, it can start to feel less like memory keeping and more like visual overload. especially when the frames don't match, the photos are outdated, or the arrangement has no flow. At that point, it's not about connection, it's just clutter in disguise. Here's a better option: keep a few favorites out where you'll actually enjoy them. Rotate them seasonally if you want, or invest in a digital frame that can display dozens at once without taking up space. You're not losing the memories, you're just making space to appreciate them in a way that fits your home now. Number 25 is souvenirs. Souvenirs from past vacations. Tiny figurines gifted years ago. Trinkets that once felt meaningful but now sit untouched on every shelf and surface. Over time, they add up, and eventually they become something you have to dust, not something you actually enjoy. You don't need to keep something just because it was a gift or because it came from a nice place. If it no longer reflects your style, or if you're just tired of looking at it, that's reason enough to let it go. Number 26 is old gift wrapping supplies. Torn gift bags with old names scratched out. Wrinkled paper you meant to reuse. Ribbons, bows, tags enough to wrap gifts for a small village, if you ever got around to it. Here's the truth: we tend to grab something new anyway. A fresh bag, a clean roll, something that doesn't look like it's been through 5 holidays already. If your gift wrap stash is overflowing with pieces you avoid using, it's not a resource, it's clutter. Keep the rolls and bags you'll actually reach for. Let the rest go. Your storage space deserves better than a pile of tangled ribbon and dusty tissue paper. Number 27 is cleaning supplies for every surface. At one point, it seemed like every surface in the house needed its own special cleaner, one for glass, another for wood, something just for stainless steel, and another for marble or granite. Now that whole shelf of products is probably doing more harm than good, not to your surfaces, but to your space and your time. Too many bottles, too many decisions. Modern multi-purpose cleaners are efficient, simple, and often work just as well, if not better. If you're always reaching for the same 1 or 2 products, that's a sign. The rest are just taking up room. Keep what you actually use. Donate or dispose of the rest safely. Fewer bottles means fewer things to manage. Number 28 is pantyhose. There was a time when pantyhose were a wardrobe staple worn with every skirt, dress, or anything that showed a bit of ankle. Some people even wore them under pants. But that time has passed. And yet, in many closets, there's still an entire drawer dedicated to pantyhose, including the ones that roll down, snag easily, or haven't been touched in years. It's okay to keep 1 or 2 good pairs for rare formal occasions. But more than that, it's just old habit taking up space. Your wardrobe should reflect how you dress now, not how people dressed in the 1980s. Number 29 is high heel shoes. You buy them because they're cute. You keep them because they might come in handy one day. But every time you wear them, if you wear them, it ends the same way: sore feet regret, and a silent vow to never do that again. The truth is, many of us have outgrown the need or desire for high heels that prioritize looks over comfort. We want to feel confident, yes, but not at the cost of limping home or carrying shoes in our hands. If you haven't worn them in years, or if you do and immediately regret it, that's your answer. You don't need a shelf of shoes reminding you of a version of yourself that doesn't match how you live now. Keep the pair that works. Let go of the ones that don't. Style doesn't have to hurt. Number 30 is old trendy items. You bought it when it was everywhere. Maybe it looked great on someone else. Maybe it was the thing at the time. But now it just hangs there, unworn, unflattering, and not really you. You don't have to keep wearing something just because it was once popular. Fashion moves on. So do you. If it doesn't feel right anymore, if it doesn't match how you want to dress today, then it's not helping you. It's just another reminder of who you used to be, not who you are now. Let it go. Let your wardrobe reflect your taste, your rhythm, and what feels right now. So there you have it, 30 items that are probably taking up space in your home without adding any real value. Getting rid of them doesn't mean you're being careless or ungrateful. It just means you're making more space for what actually fits your life. Remember, if you're using stuff, don't clean it. Never clean things you use and love. I made this list because these are common items that people own and no longer use. If they're important to you, I say keep them. And if you're ready to keep going, in the next video, we'll look at the kinds of clothes that tend to hang around even when they're no longer right for you, the ones you avoid, overlook, or feel meh about every time you get dressed. See you there.